Up right there. It must be an airplane. It's so damn. The continuation of space, like exploration is really, I think it's really an important thing. I think it should be like much more focused on in schools. I don't know. It's really like that's like the furthest away you can go, you know? It's like, that's like everything else is inherently like so like local, but that's so like, wow, like just so like.
Would you like to go to space?
Oh yes, I think I will. I mean, the ideal, well, this is like impossible, would be to be like to work for NASA. I have a huge aesthetic fascination with everything that isn't Earth, and this has been like greatly compounded by my study of like physics and astronomy or whatever. A lot of the reasons I'm so fascinated with it is because I cannot comprehend that much size and like emptiness. Like I love like children's choirs because you have these like little kids that are like singing about, like I usually can't even understand the words because they're like in Latin, but like that's what I like, not being able to understand the words because it just sounds so something that I don't understand, and I like that I can't understand it. And it just seems that they, I don't know something that I don't know, and I want to make music that sounds like it's made from like the point of view of just some like not extraterrestrial but like otherworldly kind of like choir that's like power, or not power, like just knows something that like other people don't know but isn't necessarily gonna tell them what that is. It's this like incredible like solitary like infinite thing, blackness that you could like float through like, forever. You know, it would be like being in like the biggest like cathedral ever. Like I imagine like being in this like, you know, like this like immense reverb that is just like, you know, you sing out into space and it's like, oh, but you know, assuming that it's a vacuum, I guess that wouldn't happen. I think the sound of like longing in music is like really beautiful, and I don't know. A lot of my music has this like wishful, like sort of like longing sense to it. I think because it's like so trying to like get somewhere that I can like not that I can't go. Ultimately, I feel like I am an extremely lonely person. I don't really connect with anybody at all. Even like my like closest friends, feel like huge void between them and myself, and I feel like art is like especially playing music but also drawing is like this way that I like mediate this. I'm definitely separate from everyone, and I think that I probably always will be. hard to tell if she's like dead or not, and like so it's kind of like creepy, definitely. It's like really beautiful on one hand, but it's really like scary on the other hand, and like sort of like mysterious and like dark and like obscure, and like it's sort of, you don't really like know that much what's going on, but it's still like within this like structure of like a generically beautiful painting. But I think it's like a really good sort of like metaphor for like what I'd be trying to do musically in a lot of ways. I live in apartment 5. I used to live in apartment 8, which I thought was a better number, but 5 is nicer. I think things can be more powerful when you don't know like why they're powerful. I love listening to music in other languages because I like not knowing what it's about. And often when I find out what it's about, it's like not as like beautiful as I could just like imagine that it would be. And like I like that people would like have to like imagine something else about like what I'm saying. Like when I make music, I like to make it like sound like really like big and like scary, as if I'm some like evil like queen or something, you know, like just like I like being like making something that just seems so much more like physically like powerful than I would be like most of the time. I don't really see myself as a musician per se so much as kind of like a curator of like all the stuff. I actually really like writing super mindless pop music. I could write singles day and night, but I would be kind of embarrassed to just put out like incredibly vapid, mainstream sounding pop music. Like there's just so many other things that I spend days on and hours on and am very, you know, methodological with and work really hard on, and that's kind of like, okay, this is Grimes, this is like the album, it all fits into the context of this album, which is kind of well-rounded like this, and there's more of like an overarching aesthetic to how the songs fit together and everything. I feel like when I'm doing my best work, it's when I'm not being very logical. Like it's a very kind of abstract, out-of-body kind of, I'm not thinking about this is just happening sort of thing. And I feel like lyrics are the antithesis to that. I really like the idea of minimalism, but when I'm actually working on something, it just usually ends up becoming extremely ornamented. I just can't stop adding things. So I have a bunch of music and all these kind of disparate styles, and I need to think about what I'm actually going to do and focus on that. It's really hard because now I understand the touring process, and that whatever I agree to sort of artistically for my next album, I'm going to have to sit with that for like a year and a half. So that's just so much pressure, because it's like, well, what can I handle playing like 250 times? So much of my music is just like against like the people who are trying to take it away from me. Just let me do my fucking job. Like, why else am I here? Like, I don't want to be just like the face of like this thing that I built. I want to be the person who built it. But just realizing there's no one who's going to take control over this besides me. Like, if I want this to run smoothly and I want this to happen, then I just have to like, you know, tell people what I want and what I need, which used to be really hard for me. Basically toured the world since Visions. I learned how to perform, I learned how to sing. just doing like a full pop show just like feels weird, so I started, you know, just screaming a little bit, and then I started screaming a lot.